And good evening and welcome from Munich in the Allianz Arena as we get ready for this Champions League quarter-final. Got a choice of listening tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. You've got the game at the Etihad for Manchester City against Real Madrid, but here uninterrupted coverage of this quarter-final second leg, which, just like the tie in Manchester, is on a knife edge. 2-2 from that first meeting in North London a week ago, and as the two teams line up in the tunnel in this impressive three-tiered bowl-like arena, what a contest, Matt Upson.
What a stadium as well. My first time here, and you'd certainly get a sense of how big this club is, Bayern Munich. What a club, what an opportunity for Arsenal. It's a massive game, both teams, a lot riding on it, and all the pressure really on Bayern Munich to do the job on their home ground.
When you consider that this stadium holds 70,000 and they're playing this buzzing music, you can feel it actually vibrating inside the stadium, can't you? Here we are at the bottom tier.
It's vibrating through my body as well, actually. It's quite a strange sensation, but they're really building the atmosphere, aren't they? Not that it needs too much adding to it.
And it's certainly not interference coming through the radio back home. Do not adjust your set. So these are the two teams. Neuer in goal, Kimmich, Dyer, De Ligt and Mazraoui at left back, Goretzka and Lima, Sane, Musiala, Guerrero and Harry Kane. So they've made two changes from the first leg in North London. Alphonso Davies is suspended and Gnabry is injured. Sane has, though, passed a test as Danny Macaulay, the Dutch referee, leads the two players down the steps, and then eventually they will make their way up and out onto the playing surface here. And Arsenal have made three changes from the side that lost to Villa in the Premier League at the weekend. Tomiyasu, Jorginho and Martinelli come in for Zinchenko, Trossard and Jesus. So Raya is in goal, a back four of White, Gabriel, Saliba and Tomiyasu. Midfield three of Jorginho, Rice and Ødegaard, Martinelli, Havertz and Saka. As it's a complete sellout. The Arsenal fans, there are almost 4,000 of them who are above us and a little bit to the left, high up in the gods here in the Allianz Arena. 3,779 have made the trip over as the pyrotechnics are let off with white flares in amongst the Sud curve away towards our right-hand side, and so many red and white flags at that end as well, as the Bayern supporters are hoping that they will be the ones to rejoice. They've got a formidable record, as we will now have the Champions League anthem. However, they are also scarred by failure. They've lost their last three quarter-finals in the Champions League, and for so many of Arsenal players, this is new territory, but that might be a blessing.
Yeah, it could well be a blessing for Arsenal. We talk about pressure before the game and how it's mounting on Bayern Munich. Arsenal are in good form. They're still competing and competitive within that Premier League, but in terms of experience of these types of occasions, these players don't have masses of experience and feel. It's going to be a real test for Arsenal this evening.
Certainly is. As the two teams line up. And for Bayern Munich, their approach is going to be interesting because, you know, you covered the game last week. You were saying that they were hitting on the counter-attack. The expectation will be today for Bayern to see so much more of the ball.
They've got to have they're at home. And I think how Arsenal play is going to dictate that. If Arsenal want to play their normal game and be the away team that dominates with possession and see how it goes, then that's what they'll do. That's what they historically do. That's what Mikel Arteta likes to do when he plays. But Bayern really did make them look shaky on that counter-attack, so it'd be interesting to see if Mikel Arteta is happy for Bayern to have a little bit more of the ball.
It's a stadium with the full colour changing exterior, so at times it can look white. At the moment it's got that red glow throughout the roof as we look up above, and even more pyrotechnics are now being let off. We had the white flares to begin with, now we've got the red ones, and the smoke is just drifting and billowing up into the air and then actually hanging underneath the roof because there's no escape for it. It's certainly an impressive arena.
I mean, it's an incredible sign, isn't it? I mean, behind the goal there, it's in that terracing section as well, where it's not seating. They've got quite a few sections of standing up terracing, which is where all the flares and flags are being waved, and the smoke. I mean, I wouldn't want to be sitting above that, Deno, if I'm honest.
Well, no, because I would imagine when the referee blows his whistle, they're not going to be able to see for the first few minutes. So they've now been extinguished, but the smoke remains. Arsenal are in their change strip. The red and the navy blue, sorry, the green and the navy blue. It's Bayern Munich who are in the white and the red shirts as both teams form a huddle. And Arsenal have got an opportunity here to reach a Champions League semi-final for the first time in 15 years. However, they don't have a good record in this stadium, but as Mikel Arteta said last night, they're the only ones who can change it.
Absolutely, and these experiences are going to develop this group of players. They're still inexperienced at this level, so having these occasions, making the mistakes, learning from them, that's important for Arsenal. I feel they're doing that at the moment, but we saw in that first leg those tiny little errors can really cost you, and I think having a calm, collective, professional performance, take the emotion out of it this evening, do your job and do it well, and you just don't know what's going to happen for Arsenal if they do that. They're more than capable of winning this game.
And it's an extremely cold night here in Munich as well. We had a hailstorm earlier. There's talk of the threat of snow later on. It's just above freezing. Certainly doesn't feel like we're in spring, that is for sure.
Absolutely not.
And Arsenal have turned Bayern Munich around. I'm sure that they'd like to attack the Sud curve in the second half, as where their ultras are housed behind the goal. You can see a number of 2 or 3 of their supporters actually standing on the fence behind that goal as the referee Danny McAlee blows his whistle, and we are underway. So Bayern Munich in their predominantly white shirts with the red sleeves are playing from left to right as we look, in their red shorts against Arsenal in their third strip, which is the green and navy and the navy shorts. And David Raya in his royal blue goalkeeping outfit just stands inside the D, and Arsenal will have to just try and settle things down against a Bayer Leverkusen side that has got a good record. They're unbeaten in their last 14 home games in the Champions League. They've only lost 1 of their last 23. However, they have been beaten on 3 occasions inside this stadium this season. So there is a chink of light for Arsenal as Saliba at the back. Gabriel. The start is everything though, isn't it? And Tomiyasu coming in, those 3 changes that he's made as he now gets forward.
I mean, Bayern already looking very solid through the middle of the pitch, aren't they? They really did kind of stop Arsenal developing much creative play in the first leg in that area. Goretzka and Lema were absolutely outstanding in terms of breaking up the play, not allowing Odegaard and Rice to have any dominance in that area of the pitch, and they're doing the same again this evening, looking very solid, making it hard for Arsenal to find that pass through the middle of the midfield area.
That smoke from the pyrotechnics has actually remained inside the stadium, but it's drifted away, and all of a sudden we've got a mist that is gathered in the central area of the field, as this is with Gabriel out to Martinelli on this near side. Martinelli then drops back inside his own half. White comes into a central area. Arsenal seeing a lot of the ball in these early stages. Tomiyasu now just outside the centre circle. Gabriel, been a confident opening couple of minutes.
It has, and Tomiyasu, like Zinchenko, in that midfield area, not just staying in the left back position, he's just drifted into the middle of the park to make that extra man overload. I tell you, it must be hard for the players to see the player on the opposite side of the pitch at the moment, how thick that smoke is.
No exaggeration, but the smoke is lingering, and it's like we're on top of Saddleworth Moor, on the top of the M62 with the fog. Here is Dyer getting booed by the Arsenal supporters. Kimmich at right back. As you can hear, the 2 sets of supporters at either end of the ground. The Bayern supporters chanting to each other. One will sing Bayern at the left, and then from the right-hand side they will repeat it as Musiala picks it up over on that far side. and drifts into a central area. Arsenal, though, are back with everybody back behind the ball. Here is Goretzka along the ground, now finds Sane operating on the right-hand side. Sane goes past the challenge of Tomiyasu, cuts inside the penalty area, can't get the shot away. Sane waits for Kimmich behind him. Kimmich stands over the cross. Harry Kane is there, and Harry Kane with a right-footed shot slightly behind him. It was off target. Goal kick, 0-0 in the early stages.
Yeah, that man Sane is looking smooth again, isn't he? You can see Arsenal doubling up on him, not allowing him any rhythm to run at people. I mean, he drifted past 3 or 4 last week, created the second goal with the penalty, but sets it back and gets the cross in this time, and Arsenal defend it. But I think Sane on this near right-hand side, it's going to be a real handful. Tough evening for Tomiyasu at left-back.
Could have been a lot harder had they had Alphonso Davies at left-back. Coman's missing as well. Gnabry is out injured, so he's unable to play against his former side. So they are missing a number of players who have pace in abundance, but Sane is somebody who they're going to have to keep an eye on this right-hand side. Guerrero is the one who's playing on the left-hand side. Musiala is central behind Harry Kane, as Arsenal, a little tentative, come forward. Gabriel, but the fullbacks are pushed on.
Yeah.
As now it's with Saliba, looking for the run of Ødegaard. Downward header by Mazraoui at left-back. Out towards Saka. Looking at an opportunity for Saka for that first chance to run at Mazraoui, who essentially is a right-back.
Yeah, but do you see how Bayern are just happy not to have the ball? Arsenal, all the ball, and Bayern sitting very deep, making it really hard for Arsenal to play through the lines and get any joy. But I don't think that really helps Arsenal, to be honest. I think they need to get Bayern out of that edge of that 6-yard box, get Dyer and De Ligt further up the pitch and be able to hit them in behind with a bit of pace in wide areas or down the middle. I just think it suits Bayern to sit in there and let Arsenal have the ball all evening.
That's the voice of Matthew Upson, who celebrates his birthday tomorrow.
Oh, I wondered how long.
45 tomorrow. Waited 5 minutes to bring it in. So what better way to spend your birthday eve here in the cold in Munich, as Musiala picks up and drives forward, but then stumbles and Rice is back. There was no foul there. Then Rice, he slips over. He thought he might have been impeded. The referee had a good view of that. Picked up now by Goretzka. Early ball to Harry Kane. Side onto goal and then shoots right-footed. And it was off target, and it will be a goal kick. He's had 2 efforts now inside these opening 6 minutes, both off target.
You just knew he was going to hit that, didn't you? He wasn't really on, to be honest. He had, I think it was Gabriel right in front of him, but he just doesn't hesitate. And why should he? Look at the numbers he's put up this season in goals and assists. Why would you second guess yourself when you're in front of goal? He's super confident.
Well, those numbers that Matt is talking about, 39 goals in 39 appearances, but 13 assists. So that's 52 goal involvements in 39 appearances for Bayern Munich.
The assist is rare, isn't it, for a player who is a goal scorer like him? I mean, we saw it with great players like Thierry Henry, you know, a huge amount of goals and assists at the same time. You don't see it that often. You see a lot of players hitting good goal numbers, but they're not generally creators as well.
Here is Ben White for Arsenal, right of the centre circle, on the halfway line, out towards Saka. Mazraoui goes to approach him straight away, midway through the Bayern half. Then the ball is played back to Saliba. Gabriel, left of the centre circle, comes into Bayern territory. 7 minutes played, still goalless. Back into the centre circle with Saliba. Bayern have dropped off now, so everybody's back behind the ball in the white and red. Out towards the far side, Ødegaard. Back with the captain from Saka's ball. Infield finds Saliba. White is to the side of him. Tomiyasu in that inverted role actually collects it outside the centre circle. Now to Martinelli. Rice has gone on ahead of Martinelli on this near side the left. Back then with Gabriel. Arsenal seeing a lot of the ball in these early exchanges, but it remains 0-0 on Sports Extra and also live on BBC Sounds. Tomiyasu out to Martinelli. Kimmich goes towards him. Martinelli nudges the ball past him. Sane's doubled up on him. Martinelli tries to win it back, but instead it will be a throw to Bayern Munich. Sane back doing his defensive duties. There was a doubt about Sane. He did miss the Cologne game with a problem with his pelvis, so he's not fully fit.
No, I'm not sure he's 100%. I think it's one of those injuries that he's got some pain, but he can play with it.
Here is Martinelli. Martinelli with a curler, right-footed. and it was off target. It was Havertz with the layoff, and Arsenal's first effort on goal is wide. 8 minutes played, 0-0.
Yeah, good strike, just trying to curl it into that far post area. Came into the bottles just outside the box at a really nice angle. Managed to wrap his right foot around it, looking for that far post, but the ball well wide.
So Eric Dyer, who's had that deal extended now to June 2025 here at Bayern Munich. They try and release Mazraoui on that far side, the left. Declan Rice now in the midfield has it for Arsenal. Passes the ball to Gabriel. Bayern retreat. Gabriel up towards the halfway line, finds Tomiyasu on this near side. Back with Gabriel once again. Jorginho and Declan Rice are available, as is Saliba. Jorginho is still on option. Here he is now, right of the centre circle. Forward ball to Declan Rice. Musiala just nicked it and then was able to slide in. Now it's with Lima, the Austrian international, running forward. Havertz is back. The fair-haired midfielder is passing the ball back to Eric Dyer. It's been a very tight opening 9 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just not getting a feel for Arsenal being able to penetrate or get the ball through into the areas they want to get it into, and it's frustrating them. Bayern's setup is really good in terms of soaking up that kind of pressure. Well, it's not really pressure, it's just allowing Arsenal to have the ball in their half and cutting off all those avenues. But I just want to see Arsenal try and probe and do something with the ball when they have it. It's a little bit stagnant.
Certainly they haven't really seen too much of the ball to Saka at this stage. Ball played over the top towards Goretzka, but he was offside. It'll be a free kick to Arsenal. I think he's probably only had a couple of touches, Saka.
Yeah, he's been out a couple of times, and Mazraoui's got a good distance. It's getting really tight to him. I think that also, when you've got Guerrero in front of you as well, he naturally is that defensive left-back mindset. So I think that, that may well have been in the thinking of Tuchel, that he's going to double up a little bit with Saka on that side.
Yeah, well, Portugal always play him as a left-back. When he was at Borussia Dortmund, they tend to prefer him as a left midfielder. So Guerrero is certainly flexible and adaptable on that left-hand side with his cropped hair. 30 years of age, very experienced Portuguese international, 65 caps for his country. So they're going to be very solid on that far side of the field as Ødegaard spins away from Lima, but he snaps back into the challenge. Tomiyasu still has it though for Arsenal, running forward. 10 minutes played, 0-0. Out to Martinelli. Martinelli almost level with the area. Infield to Rice, lets it come across his body. Goretzka was putting him under pressure. Rice passes it short and square. Jorginho, White, now out towards Saka, faced up by Mazraoui. Saka now goes on the outside and beats him and sends over the cross from the right, but it's too deep. It's over the head of Havertz and Martinelli, and it will run out of play for a throw.
I'm surprised he crossed it so early. I think he dropped his shoulder, got round Mazraoui for the first time, and he could have actually driven all the way into the box then. Saka decided to cross it early with his right foot. I think that was the right option. He had a good yard there, really did. Just slow Mazraoui down and then put the burners on. He got the yard he needed.
Interesting whilst you were talking there, Matt, because Declan Rice went to apologise to Goretzka as Ødegaard tries to roll away from Lima, looks for the run of Saka. Kimmich with a back pass to Neuer, clears it away first time. Rice just tapped Goretzka on the chest a couple of times to say sorry, and yet Goretzka was trying to alert the referee that Rice had caught him in the face. Now both of those players are actually on yellow cards. So a yellow card would rule them out of the first leg semi-final, which will be either against Manchester City or Real Madrid.
Well, you can tell both Lima and Goretzka are trying to get about Ødegaard and Rice, aren't they? When they've got that ball, they really are pressing hard with real purpose and intent, trying to apply pressure, force a mistake. That's their best chance for me, Bayern. Turn over the ball in that area of the pitch, that midfield area, and then all of a sudden, bang, Kane's on, the wide players are running, and Bayern Munich can then counter.
Harry Kane, his forward ball. You could hear the groans from the Bayern supporters. It went straight to an Arsenal shirt. Havertz rolls the ball back, now out towards Ødegaard. Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 1 is the latest score at the Etihad. So Real Madrid have taken the lead. It was a terrific game in the Bernabeu last week, I've got to say. And Real Madrid, Manchester City, unbeaten in 41 games at the Etihad in all competitions, and they are behind. The winners of that, of course, will take on the winners of this, and whoever wins this will be at home for the first leg either on the 30th of April or May the 1st. So, Jorginho, Gabriel nudges it to Martinelli, Kimmich into the challenge, will be an Arsenal throw. Gabriel goes back to Jorginho. There's a banner that has just been erected behind that goal that says, "We don't like you either, exclude UEFA, get out of our stadium," from the Bayern supporters. They're never short of getting their message across, the German fans. Here is Martinelli.
I thought they were aiming that at you for a moment.
Here is
a bit harsh.
Rice to Tomiyasu. Ball played back by Havertz. I would say Arsenal have probably had the greatest share of possession. I don't know what the stats
70%.
are. 70%, yeah.
Over 70%. The first 15 minutes of the game is bizarre, isn't it? You're away at Bayern Munich. You're having 70% of the ball. I mean, that just tells you where Bayern are as a team at the moment.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're doing it very well. They're organised, they're tight. You know, the ball goes into Martinelli or Saka. The fullback is right on top of them. You know, there's no space to operate. Arsenal were not creating anything, but Bayern just don't look a team that are confident to have the ball and dominate possession.
Saliba just tripped Harry Kane inside his own half. The referee noted it, but no action taken. Free kick taken to Sane. There was a slip by Tomiyasu. A couple of players have lost their footing. And this cold night in Munich, Mazraoui on that far side, Guerrero ahead of him now with the ball at his feet, back towards Mazraoui on the halfway line. Eric Dyer, who this is his 14th appearance since he arrived from Tottenham. His record against Arsenal: played 15, won 5, drawn 4, lost 6 for Eric Dyer. The England international, 49 caps. Still hasn't given up hope of trying to force his way into Gareth Southgate's squad for the Euros, of course, in Germany in the summer. Quarter of an hour played, and Dyer goes back to Neuer, all in green. Neuer switches play, Mazraoui off the chest, then the right thigh, runs away from him. Musiala with a little touch back into the path of Mazraoui, spreads it out towards Sane, takes it and takes out Tomiyasu with a touch off the chest, and then looks for the cutback. And then it was blocked and behind for a corner kick. Well, that was ominous.
Yeah, super position from Gabriel in the middle. Cut the ball at Tomiyasu all over the place here, nowhere near the ball and not aware of the run of Sane, who chests the ball into his path, and his first touch is beyond Tomiyasu, and he's a really good position, and it was sharp from Gabriel just to get across and put it out for a corner.
It's going to be Kimmich to take the corner kick. Bayern Munich playing from left to right as we look. Kimmich waits, right arm aloft, runs forward now, right-footed corner kick, headed out well by Gabriel, and he marshals that defence and he bellows as the green and navy shirts push on out. Ball hit forward by Guerrero, headed away by Rice on the edge of his area. Will it reach Havertz? No. Lima clubbed it back first time, and to Neuer, the sweeper keeper, well out of his penalty area. And now Lima rolls it out towards Sane, who from a standing start has Martinelli and Tomiyasu in front of him. Sane at this stage looks like he's the go-to man for Bayern.
Absolutely. I mean, he was a huge threat in the first leg. He was brilliant, played really well, and it looks like that's the man they're looking for in this second leg as well. I mean, neither team really quite showing their hand yet, Benno, to be honest. It's quite cagey, isn't it?
It is. 17 minutes played. There's been 3 efforts, all have been off target. 2 for Harry Kane, 1 for Martinelli. Remember, Manchester City are trailing. Commentary of that is on 5 Live Sport as De Ligt passes the ball back to Neuer. Arteta as animated as ever in that technical area. Ødegaard goes in pursuit of the ball, trying to pen Bayern in. Lima, as a result of that pressing from Arsenal, gives the ball away now for a throw.
Yeah, it's good pressure, wasn't it? Ødegaard, who does it so well, just leads by example out of possession. We always think of him as being this fantastic footballer, but he's shown a different side this season. Mikel Arteta has asked him to really lead that press and apply pressure to the opposition. He's doing it really well.
Tomiyasu with a throw on this near side, the left. It's a looping one. It's headed out by Goretzka, only as far as Martinelli. Dispossessed by Lima. Almost runs into trouble as Ødegaard goes to chase after Eric Dyer. Lumps it away downfield. Headed back by Saliba. Over the head of Saka. Almost a clash of heads between Lima and Jorginho. Jorginho then trips Musiala from behind. And the referee just calls Jorginho towards him. And that's a friendly word, but I would imagine from a smiling referee that is a warning.
Yeah, I should imagine so. It was clumsy from Jorginho. He kind of lost the original one and then reacted a little bit rash, trying to tackle Musiala. I mean, Musiala had his body between him and the ball. He was never going to win the ball. He was only going to kick through him. And the referee just having a quick word with him.
0-0, 19 minutes played.
It was good refereeing, actually, wasn't it?
That was very good refereeing.
Yeah, he's not a bad ref.
No, he's very good. Tries to let the game flow.
Yep.
Here is Goretzka out to Sane. Thomas Tuchel standing up in his technical area. Sane runs about 10 yards in field off the right touchline, then passes the ball back to Goretzka. Then he just trots forward. Kimmich is available as well on this near side. Kimmich then back to Goretzka. Harry Kane's come short. Don't really have a focal point as the ball bypassed Sane and they've given it away by him. Jorginho to Ødegaard in the centre circle, back towards Saliba. Declan Rice is available, arms out open wide, gets it to his feet. Harry Kane runs towards him, his fellow England international, passes the ball back towards Saliba, beats the press of Musiala. Jorginho to Havertz links the play up with Rice. Rice over the halfway line and now spreads play out towards Saka. Saka was just left on his loan for a second there. In off the right touchline to White at a walking pace, lifts it forward. It's a deep one into the penalty area. Over the head of Kimmich, finds Martinelli. Martinelli left-hand side of the area. Declan Rice in the box, looks for the shooting opportunity. Closed down by Goretzka. And it ballooned its way from that penalty area towards Saliba. But every outfield player of Arsenal is now in this Bayern half, and Arsenal are just trying to ramp it up here. 20 minutes played. Martinelli, once again, they've doubled up on the Brazilian. Back towards Gabriel. Tomiyasu. Flag stays down. Tomiyasu with a cutback, and De Ligt is there and can clear for Bayern Munich. But Saliba gets himself in front of Harry Kane, and Arsenal have got it once again. This is a good spell for Arsenal. Martinelli. Left-hand side of the penalty area, enters the box, comes back towards Martinelli, tries to weave his way through, still going, and then it's scooped up off his toes by the goalkeeper Neuer.
Yeah, just a little bit more purpose, a little bit more belief in these last couple of attacks from Arsenal. They're having a go. Saliba did brilliantly to win the ball back, stepped in front of Kane to keep the attack going and keep that pressure on Bayern Munich, but you just feel that Arsenal had a little bit more urgency. When they move the ball quickly, Deno, I think they can really create chances, and they've got to shift it side to side to move the Bayern back four and midfield players.
Well, they haven't been phased, have they?
No.
You know, their first quarter-final in 14 years, and this has been a good opening quarter to this contest by Mikel Arteta's side.
And I have to say, when they step off and allow Bayern time to have to build something with the ball, it just doesn't look like they're capable of doing it. I don't think they've got that kind of pattern of passes and movement to really build and move Arsenal and create something. They're very good on the counter, but when they have the ball, it's a little bit lost, isn't it?
Yes, it is, as Goretzka to Dyer. I was saying last night on 5 Live Sport, I think the weight of expectation will be far greater on Bayern, given that their season is over. If they were to lose this tonight, you know, they've lost the title to Bayer Leverkusen. As Guerreiro runs forward, Guerreiro's got a bit of space here. Guerreiro carries it to the edge of the area. Guerreiro out towards Mazraoui, and then he shoots, and it goes all the way across the face of goal. Must have taken a touch on its way through. It's gone behind for a corner kick. That was certainly the most threatening moment from Bayern by far.
That was a really good piece of play on the left-hand side. Guerreiro waiting for the Mazraoui to join him. It's Ben White who makes a lunging slide to try and stop the ball coming in, and I think it just has a deflection, or it has no deflection. There is a deflection off of Ben White. It's certainly, you know, a decent piece of defending from him to get back and not allow that ball across the goal, but really good attack from Bayern.
So a corner kick to Bayern Munich midway through the first half, and it remains 0-0 on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Bayern against Arsenal. Real Madrid still lead by a goal to nil. Kimmich with a corner. Good header out by Declan Rice in that crowded penalty area. Sane on that far side, the left, will pick it up, runs it back towards Neuer, who's just outside the centre circle of his own half, as Bayern Munich are playing from left to right as we look. But then Neuer, who enters the centre circle, hooks it out towards that far side. This is Musiala, back then with Mazraoui. Lima just outside the centre circle. Guerrero takes over, plays it out towards Mazraoui, the left back, far side. Musiala now can come forward, sees an area of space, runs into it and shoots! Raya with a save, pushes it away. Kimmich, right hand side of the area. Kimmich stands over the cross, and then it's cleared by Arsenal. Well, he certainly caught that, and Raya made a very good save. First time that a keeper has been tested tonight. Yeah,
this game's hotting up, isn't it? Bayern with a really good reply from Arsenal's pressure back 3 or 4 minutes ago. A couple of good efforts. That one was a decent strike. Did stretch Raya down to his left, but he parried the ball pretty wide. It was a decent save.
Certainly ramped up the noise with the Bayern supporters. Complete sellout tonight, 71,011. We were told the attendance would be in this impressive arena. It is the second largest behind the Westfalenstadion in Germany. It was opened almost 20 years ago, 2005, and Bayern Munich looking to try and, in what is a record 22nd Champions League quarter-final, progress into the last 4. As Kimmich to Goretzka. Arsenal will send Havertz to run towards De Ligt. Dyer on that far side. Passes the ball forward. Guerrero drops deep to collect it. Over the halfway line on the left, finds Harry Kane. Lays it off towards Musiala. Goretzka now forward of the centre circle in the Arsenal half. Kimmich joins the attack. Sane waits level with the area near side the right. Tries to go past Tomiyasu. Went on the inside, then on the outside. Had to pass it to Kimmich, who delivers the cross. Good header away by Saliba under pressure inside his penalty area. Saka now picks it up for Arsenal, away from Guerrero. He's got a chance to run at Mazraoui, but Guerrero, the two of them, will take the ball away from Saka, and then Dyer with a back pass to Neuer, Upson.
Yeah, they block him out really well there. Saka on the halfway line, the two doubling up on that left-hand side, just snubbed it out. Really good header a moment ago, wasn't it? Was it Saliba with that header?
It was.
Yeah, it was at full stretch. I think David Raya was kind of thinking about coming but didn't, and Saliba had to get his head on the end of the cross to flick it away. And Bayern have just got a little foothold in the last 2 or 3 minutes, haven't they? Looking a lot more dominant, and Arsenal just sat off and allowed them that possession in the middle of the park.
For all of Arsenal's possession, that Martinelli effort that was wide, as there's a free kick. There's another banner that has been put up now behind the goal, talking about ticket prices as well, from the Bayern supporters. Not too sure how long that will remain up as play continues. Something about charging €150 for a seat tonight, as Havertz with a header to Ødegaard. Ødegaard enters the penalty area. Goretzka takes it away off his toes. Wouldn't sit for him, would it?
No, he just wouldn't come down. He wanted to get it onto that left foot, didn't he, as soon as he could. Just couldn't quite get the shot off. But Goretzka, I mean, in those situations, there aren't many better, are there, at snubbing those chances out. He gets his body in. He's so physical, the way he plays. And his instinct, that defensive instinct he has, is superb.
Martinelli just looking like a frustrated figure at the minute. A couple of times he's just put his arms out open wide, whether he's complaining about a lack of options when he had that ball momentarily. Arsenal do have it with Ødegaard, but it's on that far side, the right, as they play from right to left. 27 minutes played, and it remains goalless here on BBC Sounds and Sports Extra. Saliba on the halfway line. Jorginho, Ben White has made the run and he's found him. He's threaded the ball through. White now with a cross. Will it reach Martinelli? No, because the right back, Kimmich, is tucked in and he volleys the ball clear.
Yeah, Kimmich, great position. Just saw where the danger was. Lovely pass from Jorginho, though, wasn't it? Split about 5 Bayern players right through into that path of Ben White, who made the run on the overlap.
Here is Ødegaard. White, good run from Ben White back to Ødegaard. Lima tracking him all the way. Gabriel just outside the centre circle of the Bayern half. Jorginho is available. Here is the Italian. Musiala runs towards him. Every Bayern player is back behind the ball, deep inside their own half. This is now with Saliba. We're approaching the half hour. Still no goals here in Munich tonight, as Saliba finds Gabriel. Martinelli wants the ball quicker. Certainly, judging by his hand actions, that is at least what is the case, as he now makes a run in field, creates the space for Tomiyasu on this near side the left, but Arsenal keep it in that central area of the field. Very, very congested as Saliba passes the ball out wide. Saka now for Arsenal, level with the penalty area. Saka finds the run of Ødegaard, right side of the area. Back with Saka once again. Little ball dinked in towards Ødegaard. Lima though was strong. Tomiyasu helps win it back. Ødegaard down into the ground, and Neuer had already started diving towards his right, and in the end had to just put up a left arm almost in slow motion to keep that effort out.
He made that look quite difficult, didn't he? I don't know whether, like you say, he'd just already started to go off the initial shot from Ødegaard, and it took that deflection, and he was on the floor and had to really get up with his left hand and stop the ball from spinning into the far part of the goal. It was a interesting piece of play.
Ball forward to Havertz. Neuer is quickly off his goal line. The rebound comes out towards Saka. Saka didn't really have much conviction there, but he's got the ball back now, and then with a cutback now, it's a late flag on that far side, and it'll be a free kick to Bayern Munich. 0-0, but better from Arsenal.
It was. Didn't he make the most of that there, Saka? I mean, it was a mistake. He ends up with the ball. They steal the ball, Arsenal. I think there's an initial offside for the first one from Havertz anyway, so it would have been offside, but it's just sparking to life. It's almost like a puzzle. Every time Arsenal got it, they've got to solve a puzzle, because Bayern have been so disciplined with their positioning. There hasn't really been an obvious pass where it's going to make your mind up and you're going to, it just happens and you see it. They're having to think about it every time they get the ball and really solve it.
If you'd have listened to the 5 Live Football Daily Pod this morning, we had a German journalist last night on 5 Live who's called Taufik, who suggested that Bayern would want and have a lot more of the possession in this second leg because it's at home. Hasn't materialised that way. The minute, they're the ones who are trying to soak it up, aren't they?
I mean, it certainly didn't in the opening 20 minutes. Probably in the last 10 minutes or so, they've just crept back in with a bit more possession, probably balanced that percentage out a little bit more, but it's certainly Arsenal the more dominant team with the ball.
Here is Jorginho coming forward. Finds Ødegaard on the turn, enters the penalty area. Martinelli, first time shot, left-footed straight at Neuer. What a chance that was from Arsenal. Their best attack so far.
Yeah, it's a big chance. Lovely play. They're just starting to find these little clever passes. Martin Ødegaard shifts it onto his right foot, spins it across to the penalty spot, and Martinelli made a brilliant run. He opens his body up as the ball's coming across him, and he tries to side foot it with his left foot and punch it towards the goal, but it's straight at Neuer. It was a nice connection. It wasn't an easy ball to hit, but straight at the goalkeeper.
As you say, either side would have worked the keeper, but it was straight at Neuer, and it was a relatively routine save. 13 minutes to go to half-time. We're in the company of the birthday boy, Matthew Upson, here in Munich tonight. It's Bayern Munich 0, Arsenal 0, 2-2 on aggregate. As Sane, Thomas Tuchel out of his technical area, ushering everybody forward. Sane cuts inside, couldn't find a way through to find Harry Kane. Arsenal now with Jorginho just outside the D of his own penalty area, back towards Raya, and you can see that calming influence that Jorginho has as he played the ball back to David Raya. Now with Saliba coming forward. And once again, Bayern drop off, happy for Arsenal to have the ball at that stage, that area of the field, as Gabriel hesitates, slips, loses his concentration, presents it to Harry Kane, and then has to recover Gabriel and forces the ball out of play for a throw.
Yeah, it's just another example of there isn't that option that makes your mind up for you when you're on the ball. You've got to find something, you've got to create something, you've got to think about where that's going to go, and Harry Kane and Bayern set up so well to stop any of those passes that it just made Gabriel hesitate, and eventually doesn't do anything with the ball and loses it. So that's been the theme of this first half so far.
Kimmich over the halfway line, the right back to Sane ahead of him. Back towards Kimmich again. Musiala has made the run and he finds him right side of the area. Gabriel goes with Musiala. Kimmich once more. Martinelli stands in front. Musiala central area. Mazraoui joins the attack. Shot right-footed, was blocked on the edge of the area. Referee tells Musiala to get to his feet. He was looking for a free kick as it's De Ligt spreads the ball out wide to that far side, the left for Dyer. Guerreiro gives it back to Eric Dyer. Not really going anywhere, not really hurting Arsenal at this stage as Eric Dyer comes over the halfway line. Guerreiro gives it him back. Now with Goretzka. Kimmich right side of the centre circle. Bit of space to run into. Midway through the Arsenal half now, Kimmich. Out to Sane near side. Sane back towards Kimmich. They look stronger on this near side. Musiala makes the run in towards the penalty area. Angle is tight. Well-timed challenge by Jorginho. Behind for a corner kick as Musiala tries to whip up the crowd. Still 0-0, 11 minutes to half-time.
Surprised he goes to ground there, Jorginho. It's a little bit of a risk because Musiala could have just adjusted his feet there. I mean, he does have a clear line to the ball, Jorginho. It's a good tackle. But you just know that staying on your feet in the box in those situations is always preferable.
Kimmich waits. Corner kick to Bayern Munich. Remains goalless. Again on this near side, the right. It's cut back. Right corner of the area. Guerreiro, left-footed cross. Catches Saka full on in the face, so the referee will have to stop play. Saka's been floored by that. So there will be a stoppage, and it's still tight, 0-0.
Very tight. Saka got that one full in the face, didn't he? Right along the line of the ball as the cross was coming in, and it was relatively close range, and it just clumps him on the temple. It looked like it's just side of the face.
Just a reminder, whilst there's a stoppage in play, both sets of players are getting further instructions from their coaches. And then Bayern, there wasn't an Arsenal player back. Ødegaard realised that if they take the quick throw, and Danny Macaulay is getting hammered by the supporters because they're saying, well, why couldn't we take the quick free kick? That would have been a little unfair.
It would. I mean, there was a break in the play. Trainers were on. The referee was over talking to Saka, and Arsenal were just kind of regrouped with Mikel Arteta in a bit of a huddle, and Bayern take the throw-in without the referee restarting the game. Yeah, they would have had to wait for the referee to be ready to restart.
Yeah, mistake there by Kimmich. You had the majority of both sets of players getting an impromptu team talk from their respective coaches here on the touchline. Arsenal, meanwhile, get a throw on this near side, the left. Bayern Munich 0, Arsenal 0. 5 Live, Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. And we have got 9 minutes to go to half-time. Tomiyasu waits to take the throw. Not much movement for him on this near side. Eventually he finds Martinelli, and it's going to be cleared by Eric Dyer, as that was Gabriel who pulls Harry Kane to the ground, and it will be a free kick. Danny Macaulay spotted it, let the game flow, and then brings it back. He was all over him like a rash. Free kick to Bayern Munich.
They didn't really need to get that tight there, Gabriel. I mean, they had quite a bit of this in the first leg, Gabriel and Harry Kane. They really did have a bit of a physical duel, with Gabriel fouling him quite a lot of times, and a lot of that kind of bear hugging and dragging him to the floor when he was backing into him.
Both sides have had 4 efforts at goal, 2 on target for Arsenal, 1 for Bayern Munich, 0-0. 8 minutes to go to the break. Here is Kimmich infield, diagonal ball to Lima, tries to get away from Rice, but Rice takes it away from him. Now with Ødegaard, forward ball, Havertz crosses the ball, and it came back to Havertz. Ødegaard's actually picked up a bit of a knock there, and Ødegaard has gone down inside the penalty area. That's a worry. Ødegaard writhing in agony inside the penalty area.
Yeah, I didn't quite see whether it was a kick or hopefully not something like a twist or how he's landed there, Martin Odegaard. And Goretzka making the fouls. Really good pressure from Declan Rice. Robs the ball off Lehmer. Goes wide to Havertz. It then kind of pimples, but he pulls up for no reason there, Martin Odegaard.
I think he might have just been caught when he initially won the ball. He might have just got a little, whether it's a dead leg to the left leg.
I think it's a strange one because it was Rice that stepped in and won the ball back, and then maybe whether he just flicked a pass, kind of flicked the ball wide with his left foot. He's holding his left knee. I think it's something that he's just felt for some reason. I didn't see any contact or any reason why he should, but he's looking like he's struggling, Demo.
He is. He's on his haunches at the moment, and he's going to try and get through it would seem, but he's grimacing and he's still bending over and he's still feeling that left knee, hobbling quite a lot, the Arsenal captain. Meanwhile, Arsenal have been awarded a free kick. 6 minutes to go to half-time, 0-0, Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Arsenal in the green and navy shirts, playing from right to left. On this near side, the left, Rice with the free kick, dropping, Havertz with a header, and the flick header easily saved by Neuer.
Calm goalkeeping from Neuer. They're quite tricky then for goalkeepers if you panic, but he doesn't panic. He stays really calm, stays on his goal line, waits for the contact from Havertz, who flicks it in towards the goal and then just plucks it out of the air.
So still goalless here in Munich. Kimmich to Goretzka. Back with Kimmich once again. And then he passes the ball square. Eric Dyer over on that far side. Lehmer with the clearance. That goes astray. Arsenal, another turnover there with Rice out towards Saka. Doubled up on Saka once again. Manages to pass the ball in towards Rice. He finds Ødegaard. Ødegaard for the return ball to Saka. Cleared by Neuer inside his penalty area. Gabriel again was very, very tight behind Harry Kane. He did have a little touch on his arm and then he rolled away from him. As now Rice floats a diagonal ball forward. Kimmich well positioned to head it away. Bouncing ball for Sane. Tomiyasu gets a foot into the challenge. Ødegaard, Havertz central position 30 yards out from goal. Arsenal now with Ødegaard. He's got White to his side. Here is the Arsenal right back. Under 5 minutes to go to half-time. Urged on by the travelling support. Cries of Arsenal, Arsenal from up above us here inside the Allianz Arena. Layoff by Ødegaard. Havertz, Dyer prevents the ball from reaching Saka, but Bayern are being forced back by Arsenal. Martinelli left-hand side. Tomiyasu, first-time cross, headed out by Dyer, only as far as White. White with a shot on the half volley, right-footed off target, goal kick, still 0-0.
Well, there's been some goal. If that had gone in the back of the net, Ben White was quite clever, controls it, feints on his left, pulls the ball onto his right foot, but not quite enough power or accuracy on the strike.
4 minutes to go to half-time. Who do you think's had the edge, or would you say it's been quite even?
I think it's been quite even. I mean, Arsenal, they've settled really well. There's no real kind of mistakes or poor decisions. They've handled the game pretty well so far, but you just feel, have they got enough to break down this Bayern defensive unit? And I mean that as in terms of the whole team. They're just defending very well right from the front, making life difficult. Arsenal have to be patient with the ball, not force it.
Former Arsenal defender and England international Matt Upson, who is with us here in Munich tonight. 3 minutes to go to half-time. That is going to be an Arsenal free kick for a foul on Ødegaard. It was Lehmer who shakes his head in a disapproving manner from the award of the Dutch referee. Jorginho stands over it and then just rolls it to Saliba. Gabriel. Martinelli with just a gentle movement of the right hand, as always say, don't pass it to me just yet. Now he wants it. Kimmich has given him a good 10 yards space on this near side.
I mean, you just watching Kimmich, his head movement, he's constantly adjusting his position. He wants his distance to him to be bang on. So he's not all the way out with him, so he's too close, but he's close enough to know that when that ball travels out there, he can get there and nail his first touch. I mean, he's played him really well so far in this game, Kimmich. He's had that distance totally spot on.
If they're quick enough with that switch of play, and that's what I think Martinelli's wanting to say to his team.
But that's what I'm saying about if you're going to break this down, you've got to move the ball quickly. It's the only way to do it. You can either hit really good range of passes and take out a lot of people with a big switch of play, or you have to move the ball quickly. Otherwise, Bayern will adjust because they're so disciplined.
Again, Martinelli wanted it, but it's on that far side, the right for Arsenal at the moment with White. Down the line it goes towards Ødegaard, drops his shoulder, still faced by Lima. Ball in field, cleared by Mazraoui, kept in play on that far side. Lima now, an industrious midfielder, runs forward, finds Sane, and we're about to be 90 seconds remaining of this first half. Martinelli, though, doing his defensive duties back there as Sane is forced just to come to a standstill. Passes the ball to Kimmich. Kimmich in field, De Ligt, and now back with Kimmich once more, Goretzka, but Arsenal keeping their shape very, very well and have got everybody back behind the ball. We'll find out in the next 60 seconds how much added on time there will be. And Bayern Munich with Guerreiro having to be patient at this stage, back with Eric Dyer now midway through the Bayern half. Guerreiro, Saka will run towards him. Ødegaard, Lima, De Ligt once more. Kimmich is available. It's a short ball to Joshua Kimmich. And Kimmich again, bellowing there at De Ligt. He wanted De Ligt to step out of defence and become without passing the ball back towards him. I don't necessarily not entirely happy there was no. Kimmich, was he?
Well, he wanted the confidence for him to say, give me the ball, I want to step out and get us playing. I think it's definitely a centre-back's responsibility. You know, you think of yourself as a defender, but you've got to start those attacks off and get the ball moving.
Here is Rice in the centre circle on the stretch, conscious of the presence of Sane.
Yeah.
He passed the ball behind Tomiyasu, and Bayern all of a sudden have got a free kick on this near side, the right. So Harry Kane was going to take it quickly. By my watch, the 45 minutes are up, and in fact, almost on cue is the fourth official, Sander van der Eyck, and he shows an additional 60 seconds. So 1 minute of added on time. Bayern Munich 0, Arsenal 0 in this Champions League quarter-final second leg, live here in Germany on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. And the evidence of what we've witnessed in this first 45 minutes, you really wouldn't rule out extra time at this stage. I know there's still a long way to go. Just having to stand up because we're situated right by an aisle here in the bottom tier of the Allianz Arena, and I think the supporters are being drawn to either the pints or the pretzels. And when I say pretzels, they have giant pretzels here.
Or both.
In Munich, or both. There is the half-time whistle. So Bayern Munich 0, Arsenal 0 at the break. During the half-time here on Sports Extra, we will rejoin 5 Live Sport. But what was your summing up of that first 45 minutes, Matt Upson?
Yeah, interesting tactical battle, this one. Not quite the interest and the action of the first leg, certainly in the first half. That was bouncing all over the place. This has been very measured, very controlled. Arsenal settling very quickly into the game, dominating with the possession, but Bayern showing that on the turnover, or when they get the ball into wide area, they've got players like Musiala, Kane, Sane, who can make things happen. This is still really tightly poised, and I think it's a very difficult one to call at the moment.
Well, in the first leg, there were 3 goals in the first half. It remains 2-2 on aggregate, goalless at half-time here, but Arsenal with Martinelli. Ødegaard had an effort that was clawed away by Neuer. Martinelli a first-time shot straight at Neuer, and then a flick header from Havertz that was a comfortable save for the German goalkeeper. Harry Kane had a couple of early efforts off target. Mazraoui across the face of goal after a deflection from White, and Bayern's best effort, but their last effort was in the 24th minute, a Musiala drive that Raya made a save away towards his left. So half-time on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds is Bayern 0, Arsenal 0. And as I say, during the half-time interval, we're going to rejoin 5 Live Sport, but we'll be back in good time for the second half. So here on Sports Extra. We'll now rejoin 5 Live, and we hope to have the company, or pleasure of your company, for the second period.
Down the tunnel with Carlo Ancelotti rather sauntering down the tunnel to his left. It's going Carlo Ancelotti's way. 1-0 at half-time, Paul Robinson.
I think he'll be delighted, Carlo Ancelotti, John. I think he really will. I think that getting the goal early has played right into the hands of his game plan, because they are allowing Manchester City possession. You look at the possession stats, you watch the game with your own eyes. Manchester City have dominated possession, but on the turnover, Real Madrid look hugely dangerous with the pace, the quality that they've got, and the game plan that they've got. As soon as they lose the ball, turnover, they attack Manchester City quick. For all City's possession, for all the goal attempts that they've had, Real Madrid still look dangerous. Carlo Ancelotti will be absolutely delighted at half-time.
Players just mingling as they head down the tunnel. Carvajal seems to have a lot to say for himself. Looks like half-time at the Theatre Royal here, with all of the various little trolleys and stages being rolled on for the television companies from all over the world. Shay Gibbon, your thoughts at half-time?
Yeah, I mean, I think City finished the half relatively well, John. They look like, as I said, the old City we all know, like peppering teams and keeping the ball and moving the ball and not trying to be too impatient around the box, because I think the first maybe half an hour they were trying to score straight away. So the last 5 or 6 minutes was encouraging, I think, albeit Pep Guardiola will try and have to regroup them at half time and come out again, and just, I think the biggest worry for me now from a Man City point of view is how quick Real Madrid are in the break. There was a couple of times in the first half that City had nice control or whatever in the final third, but within a matter of seconds there's a shot off at City's goal, and there's one time in the first half Pep Guardiola's on his knees, because if it goes to 2-0 then I can't see a way back. So it's really finely poised, but I still think there's more goals to come. I do think City will score, but Real Madrid have the players to score as well. So it's a fantastic second half setup.
Yeah, Manchester City with 63% possession, but Real Madrid with the goal. Rodrigo in the 12th minute, half time. Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 1, and the record winners of the competition have their noses in front. And Mark Chapman is here inside the stadium with us.
It is goalless in Munich as well this evening. We will go there shortly. The front three, they're the difference, aren't they, Paul? Shay's mentioned it, but their movement, which is causing City problems on the break, that they're being very clever, that front three.
Well, we've seen how porous City can be this year. We've seen them concede more goals than we would expect them to, and have done previously. But with Bellingham in behind Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo, the pace that they've got, it's the counter-attack. Getting the early goal, like I just said to John there, it's played right into Real Madrid's hands. They're quite happy letting Manchester City have possession, knowing how dangerous that they are themselves on the counter-attack, and the pace and the quality that they've got with Valverde, with Camavinga and Kroos. They've got the players on the turnover of possession, literally just feed the three in front of you.
But those three aren't staying in set positions, though, are they, Shay? It isn't Vinicius against Kyle Walker. They are moving around.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, I mentioned Jude Bellingham in the first half as well. It felt like there's two Bellinghams out there, because once, he's in his own sort of 6-yard box clear and stuff, and the next thing he's the furthest player forward. It's very difficult for the defence to defend against. But again, it feels like at times they're setting traps for this City team, because we all know how good they are on the ball, and at times they're committing 5 or 6 people to the press, and you can see Pep sometimes saying to Ederson, try and miss that press out, try and hit Grealish or a Haaland longer and miss out the amount of players they're committing to that press. But again, my worry from a City point of view is the talented players on Real Madrid. They're just setting traps, and once they win the ball back, Mark, they're like literally sprinters towards the City goal, and they've got the quality to punish them as well.
And from a City on the attack point of view, they seem to quite like trying to find Haaland in the air, actually, this evening. Foden's hit a few in, De Bruyne's hit a few in. I think they think Madrid are vulnerable in the air.
I think so, yeah, because we've seen City get hurt like that in the Premier League this season, with teams using set plays against them, with the heading ability they've got in Haaland, but it's the delivery from De Bruyne. They've certainly spotted a weakness in Lunin, the goalkeeper, from set plays. They've whipped everything right under the crossbar. De Bruyne from the left-hand side, and even in the second half of the first half, Phil Foden went out onto the right-hand side and he's whipping the left foot crosses in. They're trying to find Haaland. He's hit the crossbar with a header. That is an aerial route that they're looking at. But for me, I think that the biggest talking point, me and Shay both talked about it in the first half, is Phil Foden. He's not having a good game. He's not been allowed to because of the position that he's playing in. He's not having the interaction in the game, or been the involvement in the game that we have seen him do in previous games.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I was going to say the exact same thing. I would like to see maybe Bernardo Silva, because obviously the game plan is Grealish is hugging one touchline and Foden's hugging the other touchline, and I would nearly, I know Silva's a brilliant player as well, but nearly sacrifice him and say, okay Bernardo, you go out on the right wing this time, and Foden come inside, because we all think with De Bruyne and Foden in them 10 positions they'll cause all sorts of problems, and I think Phil can influence the game so much more. I actually nearly not feel sorry for Phil, but I feel like it's frustrating for him, because he's doing a job for the team, he's doing exactly what the manager wants, but he can't influence in such a big game, being a goal behind now as well. It's massive second half.
So Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 1 here in the second leg, 4-3 to Madrid on aggregate. Goalless in Munich at half time. Bayern against Arsenal. John Southall.
Yeah, it's tight. Bayern Munich 0, Arsenal 0. That's 2-2 on aggregate. I think Mikel Arteta will be satisfied with that 45 minutes. Not much between these two. Arsenal restricted Bayern to one shot on target. Musiala's 25-yarder saved by flying Raya to his left-hand side. But they've had chances, Arsenal. Martin Odegaard with a deflected shot from the edge of the D. Wrong-footed Neuer, and he just managed to claw it away with his trailing left hand. Then in the very next play, Odegaard to Martinelli, 14 yards out, unmarked, straight at Neuer. Really good chance, that one. Matt Upson's been watching on 5 Live Sports Extra. What have you made of him, Matt?
I think it's been a really mature performance so far from Arsenal. Actually, they settled into the game so quickly, dominating possession in the first 15 minutes, probably 70% of the ball, and Bayern really sat deep, not wanting to have it at all, and just asking Arsenal to kind of solve the problem and create the space and break us down. And the game's toed and froed a little bit, Bayern coming a bit more back into it, showing they can be dangerous, but Arsenal have to be really happy with that first half performance.
We spoke before the game, a lot of these players haven't been involved in an occasion like this in the Champions League, but I mean, right from the start, as you say, they settled so well.
Yeah, they did, and they've looked assured. I mean, only once or twice Gabriel dwelled on the ball once, and it looks a little bit iffy, but other than that, they've been very solid. Tomiyasu's got his hands full with Sane, who looks very bright when he gets that run in behind, or if they see any balls in behind, just having the awareness to know where he is all the time, because he picks up some really difficult positions. I think that's a key factor for Arsenal.
So a fascinating second half to come here, Mark. Arsenal very much in this. Half time, it's Bayern Munich 0, Arsenal 0, 2-2 on aggregate.
So goalless there, goalless at Dens Park as well. Gavin Wallace.
Dundee 0, Rangers 0, although Dundee could very easily have been one up on a minute. Boateng's effort whistled by the right hand post of Jack Butland. Not long after that, Rangers had a big defensive splitting pass. They just couldn't quite get through. McCracken saved it. Then a little bit later on though, there was a great effort actually. There was a free kick from James Tavernier 30 yards out or so. It was up and over the wall and the keeper saved it very well. But Dundee have had a goal mark. It was chalked offside. Bakayoko on the follow up from a very close free kick, and it was just a yard or so offside. Not a classic. Rangers wasteful. Dundee will be happy to break. On the break, Dundee 0, Rangers 0.
Still goalless in the National League as well between Gateshead and Aldershot. Gateshead are in the playoffs. Aldershot really need to turn that point into victory to give themselves a chance of making the playoffs. They're a point off them at the moment as it stands, and they will only have one game left to play. Chelsea are getting all 3 points in the Women's Super League. Sahel Sahi.
They are. We've got 2 minutes of the 9 of stoppage time to play at the end of this game, Mark, and it's Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0, so they're heading back to the top of the WSL, who's never in doubt really once Aston Villa went down to 10 men as early as the 4th minute. Goals from Aggie Beaver-Jones in the first half. Hamano had doubled that lead just before the break, and then Khadisha Buchanan with the third in the second 45 minutes. We've got a minute to play. Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0.
Couple of minutes before 9 o'clock, Lisa McCormick has the news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Peers have inflicted a second defeat in the government over its plans to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda. They've backed an amendment that would exempt Afghan soldiers who served alongside British forces from being sent to the East African nation. The bill will now be sent back to the Commons for further consideration. The families of 2 9-year-old girls who were murdered in 1986 say they still want answers after Sussex Police apologised for failings in its initial investigations. The bodies of Nicola Fellows and Karen Hadaway were found in Woodland in Brighton. Russell Bishop was initially cleared of the murders but was found guilty in a second trial more than 30 years later. Hugh Grant says he's reluctantly agreed an out-of-court settlement with the publisher of The Sun over claims the newspaper used private investigators to unlawfully gather information about him. News Group Newspapers says it doesn't accept liability or made any admissions. Our culture editor, Katie Razzle, says the actor was told by his lawyers he could face legal costs of up to £10 million even if he won the case.
He's clearly regretting not having his day in court. I mean, he had claimed that the Sun had commissioned someone to burgle his home and to bug his car, and he says that he's going to spend this money that he's got from Newsgroup newspapers on continuing his campaign to reform the press.
And thousands of British passengers are caught up in flight disruption in Dubai due to intense flooding. Dubai International Airport has urged people to stay away.
On BBC iPlayer.
So we just want to get to the port, get on one of the ferries.
This is probably the biggest moment of the race so far.
Get our tickets now.
Pressure.
Here we go. We could beat them. Come on.
This is it! Come on! Race Across the World is back.
I don't want to go home. I want more of this.
5 intrepid duos travel from Japan to Indonesia.
I know it's going to be hard. I don't want it to be easy.
With no phones, bank cards or directions.
Mum, they're behind us.
Run! Brand new Race Across the World continues tonight on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
A Real Madrid lead here at the Etihad by 1-0. In Munich, it's Bayern 0, Arsenal 0. Tomorrow night, Liverpool go to Atalanta for the second leg of their Europa League quarter-final, and they are 3-0 down after that first leg defeat at Anfield. Here's Jurgen Klopp.
Tomorrow the game is even more difficult because they don't have to score at all, and I don't know exactly what they want to do. Because usually you fight for everything, and how do you want to fight tomorrow for everyone you're 3-0 up? That's really not easy for them as well. So we will see who deals better with the situation and all these kind of things. If Bergamo goes through, congratulations, then they deserve it. And if not, then something special probably would have happened, but I don't know in this moment if that's possible.
Can you just give us your perspective right now on how important this competition remains to you and to Liverpool this season?
100%. We are here. I'm long enough in this business to know that it's 2 legs, and it's over when it's over. As far as I know, we still are allowed to play tomorrow, so that's what we will try. That means it has our 100,000% focus. We are only here for one reason. I'm pretty sure this is a wonderful region. We did not even look. We're only here for playing football. That's what I can say.
Tough task for West Ham as well. They host the German champions Bayer Leverkusen, 2-0 down from the first leg. Here's David Moyes.
I still believe that you're playing against one of the best teams in Europe at this moment in time. With, certainly a team which are going to be in the Champions League next year look as if they would be quite comfortable in that company. When you look at the way Dortmund have performed last night and Bayern Munich are performing at the moment, and this team are above them in the league. So I think we should give them respect, and we'll try and do our best tomorrow night to not to give them too much. But ultimately, I think they deserve the respect because of the results.
That was David Moyes. One other football line for you. Rotherham have reappointed Steve Evans after sacking Liam Richardson following their relegation to League One. All the compensation has been sorted with Stevenage for Evans to return to Rotherham. Back to Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, full time here, Mark. Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0. Chelsea then back top of the WSL with a convincing win. Aston Villa, they were reduced to 10 players after their goalkeeper Anna Leet was sent off for handling the ball outside the penalty area. That was within the first.
So that's BBC Radio 5 Live. With us is now Sports Extra and the coverage from the Allianz Arena for the second half. As the two teams come out, neither side appears to have made a change. So Neuer in goal, back four of Kimmich, Dyer, De Ligt and Mazraoui, Goretzka, Lima, Musiala, Sane, Guerrero and Kane. White shirts with the red sleeves, red shorts for Bayern Munich, as the Arsenal supporters are in terrific voice high up away towards over our left shoulder in the green and navy shirts and navy shorts, and they have Raya in goal, a back four of White, Gabriel, Saliba, Tomiyasu, Jorginho, Rice and Ødegaard, Martinelli, Havertz and Saka. And Arsenal, who will be starting this second half, will be playing from left to right as we look. And there is referee Danny McAlee, the Dutch referee, who gets the game underway. And Arsenal straight away launch it to the edge of the area, and it comes towards Ødegaard, who has a flash of that with his left boot, and it's off target in the opening 15 seconds, and it will be out for a goal kick, 0-0. Matt Upson.
Well, I thought I was going over the top when I brought my hat and gloves here. Thankfully, somebody rang me before I came and told me to wrap up warm. I'm glad I did then, though, because it is freezing here.
It is. It's just above freezing. You wouldn't believe that it's in the springtime. Mind you, next week they reckon it's going to drop to -1.
Really? What, next week?
Next week here in Munich. Certainly it looks lively and warm in that end that is jumping up and down in unison in the Sud curve in München. 1972 reads the banner. In between the bottom and middle tier as Sane cuts inside off that right touch line. Kimmich floats a diagonal forward. The header from Goretzka hits the post. Fired back in then by Guerrero. And Bayern Munich came very, very close to taking the lead in just over 60 seconds of the second half. Goretzka climbed, and Arsenal very, very fortunate still to be at 0-0.
I mean, he arrives brilliantly. I think it hits the post a second time as well.
Took a deflection, didn't it, the Guerrero effort?
Yeah, the Guerrero effort was great. It cannoned off Ben White onto the near post, so it was crossbar first time and then post a second. Really good header from Goretzka. I mean, he drifts into that area so late from midfield, got up really well.
Luckily has spotted a little bit of pushing and shoving. Gabriel is a player involved, as is Goretzka. So a slice of double fortune for Arsenal, because you're right, the Guerrero effort did take a deflection off White and also hit the left-hand post as we look. Kimmich with a corner kick for Bayern Munich, floats it deep. Good header out by Saliba, and then a header on the run by Martinelli. Muscled off the ball by Mazraoui. Martinelli, though, tries to win it back. And ball against Martinelli, says the referee. Free kick to Bayern Munich over on that far side, the right. And it's been a lively start to the second period.
It certainly has. They've come out with a little bit more urgency, a bit more purpose about their play. Bayern Munich. It's a good run from Martinelli. He wins the ball, but Mazraoui, he hasn't done much wrong in this game, has he? So far, he's been really tight to Saka in that left-back slot. He's coped really well.
Joined from Ajax in 2022, the Moroccan international defender, primarily on the right, playing as a left-back. Alphonso Davies is suspended. This free kick is going to come in from that right-hand side. It's midway through the Arsenal half. Arsenal's line of defence is on the edge of their penalty area. Kimmich, right-footed. Raya came off his goal line, then retreated. Sane on the edge of the area, can't get the shot away. There was Ødegaard. Havertz and Ødegaard between them will find it towards Martinelli. And Arsenal still on their edge of their penalty area, scoop the ball clear with Jorginho. Commanding header forward. That was by Eric Dyer, as Neuer again comes a long way out of his penalty area and heads it forward. That where he is, he excels, does Manuel Neuer. I can't believe there are still many supporters who are left to take their seats. They are absolutely filing by. Their time management is terrible. I don't know that half-time is only 15 minutes.
Well, there was a fair queue to get a beer, I should imagine. So I don't think they were going to leave that alone before they made the purchase.
Tomiyasu has gone down. This is a potential worry.
Yeah. I mean, just talking about Neuer there, talking about the foresight, it's the confidence as well, Deno, isn't it? To really know your position as a goalkeeper and have the confidence and belief to be in the right place. I mean, he's so far out, but he reads the game brilliantly.
Tomiyasu's done well.
Yeah.
Zinchenko had an indifferent game, to put it mildly, against Villa at the weekend.
Yeah.
There was a concern who was going to play left back. Arteta was asked in the press conference last night. A number of Arsenal supporters are maybe getting after Zinchenko, which Arteta said he felt unfair. He's been a good servant to the club.
Yeah. Bearing
in mind all the circumstances he's playing his football at the moment. But Tomiyasu, with his versatility...
Yeah, it's a contact lens issue.
Yeah. Well, that'll be easily remedied.
Yeah. He's just putting a new one in now, I think, from the look of it. But Arsenal in that department, they don't have an out-and-out left-back, do they? Look at players that they say will play there. Timber and Tomiyasu, both right-footed. Zinchenko, who really wants to be higher up the pitch. He's a creator. He's a midfield player or a number 10 or a creative midfield player. Kivior's a centre-half. There's not an out-and-out left-back, really, at the club. And I think that's certainly something they're going to look at to address next season.
You could say it's going to come into focus for Arsenal.
It could do. Yeah, I got it. I just didn't want to acknowledge how bad it was.
5 minutes into the second half. Play is back underway. Tomiyasu's got his contact lenses back in working order. White will clear the ball away downfield. Saka gets away from Mazraoui. Saka now looks to come on the inside of Dyer, right side of the area. Saka, edge of the box. Ødegaard looks for a shooting opportunity, passes the ball out wide to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu with a miscontrol, and it will be an Arsenal throw. It's like a conveyor belt.
I mean, we're 6 minutes into the second half, and people are still coming down to find their seats from the food and drink.
They're not even the prawn sandwich brigade. In comes the cross from the throw from that left-hand side. Heads it away. Rice plays it back down the line. Tomiyasu tries to come forward. Tomiyasu now to Martinelli. Two Bayern players both met the Brazilian, and it's clattered away by Bayern Munich. The referee will give Bayern Munich a free kick for a foul on Goretzka midway through their own half. It's never ending.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to ease up when I look back either.
Ball played back out towards Dyer. Neuer. Dyer comes out wide on this near side, hits it forward, little flick there by the head of Musiala. Gabriel has got a good couple of yards on Harry Kane. His forward ball is met by the sliding Goretzka. Goretzka is such an imposing figure in the midfield.
I just think he's outstanding. I really do. I mean, he was superb in the first leg, and he's been very good in this one, because he does kind of both. He's got that defensive shield, but then he's arriving in the box and looking a goal that like he can arrive and score a header or get on the end of a cross. He's a top player.
It's his 50th appearance in the Champions League tonight. Leon Goretzka. He was linked with Manchester United last summer. Here is White. Now it's with Saka. Saka right-hand side. Doubled up on him. Saka enters the penalty area, can't get past Mazraoui. Last touch off Saka. And would you believe, 8 minutes into the second half,
not quite.
We've just got a few more stragglers, but now we can at least see the playing surface away towards our right.
We can. And Saka has been very quiet in this game.
He has.
So far. And I think you have to give a bit of credit to Mazraoui for that. He has stuck to him like glue. He's been right on him every time he receives the ball, and there's no real space for Saka to operate. They haven't allowed him that opportunity. Only one time in that first half where I actually thought he got the wrong side of him, and he decided to cross it really early.
Mazraoui with a throw, headed on by Harry Kane. That's going to go out of play for a throw for Arsenal on this near side, the right. 9 minutes now into the second half, still 0-0, 2-2 on aggregate. Manchester City still trailing. The winners of this will meet the winners of that. Ødegaard, he was just pulled back there by Lima, just had hold of his waistline, just tucked him back.
Yeah.
Very fortunate to get away with a yellow card, actually, Conrad Lima. And in fact, now he's shown a yellow card by Danny McAuley.
Yeah, that's correct. It's the right decision. Just for that foul alone, but he has been a persistent fouler in this game. That's his style. Lima's very combative midfield player, loves to win the ball back, and he was over eager there, put his arms around Ødegaard, who'd got the wrong side of him, and did pull him back. It's a yellow card offence, and he rightly gets one.
Like Kimmich, he can either play as a defensive midfielder or as a right back, as Arsenal take the free kick quickly out towards Saka. Saka with the cross, headed out. Harry Kane was back on defensive duties there. Comes to Jorginho. This game is there for Arsenal to take. Martinelli swings over the cross. Neuer gathers and just drops the ball and pats it down in front of that boisterous and vociferous Sud curve away towards our right, clapping in unison in amongst the red, white and flags. There must be at least a dozen that have been continually flying in that end, which is packed out. There's actually a terrace behind the goal away towards our right, as Saka wins the ball from Mazraoui, feeds it forward to Rice, charges over the halfway line. Rice then slows down. Saka is available, passes the ball in field This is Saliba. Now Jorginho takes over almost midway through the Bayern Munich half. Gabriel out to Martinelli, far side the left. Martinelli to the byline with the cross. Havertz couldn't get there. It was Dyer who actually came across and made a very good, well-timed challenge.
It's a good block
to clear.
Really good block from Dyer. Had to get there.
Havertz to Ødegaard, couldn't take it in his stride. Goretzka will run the ball away from the penalty area and runs with pace, and then just shows too much to Jorginho. Slides into the challenge, and it was a fair one. Rice on the stretch couldn't get there. It was a poor ball to Rice.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't do him any favours.
No, it was a poor pass from Saka. Puts his arms out and in frustration. He's had a funny night, Bukayo Saka. Not the usual Saka that we see terrorising defences and being really tight with the ball. A loose pass to Declan Rice, that.
Well, they hit the post early in the second half, did Bayern Munich. Arsenal yet to really conjure anything up so far in these opening 11 minutes of the second half. But Arsenal now on the back foot. Musiala forward. This with Guerrero. Guerrero looks to Harry Kane. Oh, the back pass from Saliba was almost one that ended in an own goal, because Raya had come off his goal line and the ball was played back blindly, and it ran wide of the left-hand post as we look.
Well, I said in the first half that there's been no... Where is David Raya going?
It was Gabriel, wasn't it?
But where's he? Why is Raya coming out at that point? I've got no clue why he comes out to try and deal with that. Stay on your goal. Gabriel has it under control. Don't come out and confuse things. Just stay where you are, and if he passes it back, then fine, or if he clears it, whatever choice he makes with the ball at that point is up to him. Just make sure you're on the line.
He went walkabout last week for the first goal, didn't he? Kimmich with a corner kick near side the left. Good header out by Rice. Mazraoui right corner of the area. The cross is very, very deep, and it drops out of play for a goal kick. But something like that can then just give a lift to the home support.
Absolutely, it causes doubt, doesn't it? And they can feed off that. But it was just an odd decision from David Raya to even consider coming out off the line into that. But he didn't come out at an angle either then. He came out centrally, and the ball was always going to be passed wide at an angle into that side of the goal. I mean, it was actually fortunate the back pass wasn't on target.
Yes. If it was on target, it would have gone in.
It was
yeah, because Raya...
over.
Yeah. 0-0 still. 2-2 on aggregate. We're approaching the hour mark. Saka collects it inside the halfway line. Passes the ball towards Jorginho, spreads it out towards Martinelli. It was a curling ball, forced Martinelli a couple of yards back. Rice, White, right at the centre circle, now out towards Saka. Saka's forward ball, Havertz, Lima is there. Lima prevents it going behind for a corner, but it will be an Arsenal throw, level the penalty area on the right-hand side. White waits to take it. Ødegaard is available, down towards the byline, finds the Arsenal captain. White back inside to the Norwegian, holds off a couple of challenges, cleared then by Mazraoui. Saliba lets it come across, back in field towards Gabriel, and now with Jorginho. Jorginho over the top, looking for Havertz. Havertz has made the run. Havertz keeps the ball in play, and then eventually sliding, it runs out for a goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, looking for that ball over the top. Jorginho has had a pretty strong game for me in that Arsenal midfield, been very good, comfortable with the ball, really trying to orchestrate things, looking for that ball over the top. A couple of times he's signalled to Saka, wanting the run for him to run from outside to in, and he's looking just to dink or chip that ball over the top of Eric Dyer's head, in behind him for Saka. He keeps kind of gesturing to him to make that run a little bit more often. I think he sees it and feels that it's on.
Bayern Munich, 4 of their 6 wins in the Champions League campaign this season have been by a single goal. Might just be the one goal that separates the two sides in this tight contest so far. Remains goalless. Sane coming forward, certainly hasn't been as free-flowing as last week's first leg, that is for sure. Kimmich, Sane waits, right-hand side, back with Kimmich once again. Arsenal have got everybody back behind the ball. Bayern Munich have failed to score just once in their last 28 Champions League games at home. That was against Copenhagen in the group stages in November. Tomiyasu with the interception. Now he runs forward. Sliding challenge was made by Guerrero, and it was a good one. Referee is on the spot yet again. Kimmich though for Bayern Munich, down the line on that far side. Sane looking to link up with Musiala. They've lost the ball though, have Bayern. Ødegaard just prods it out wide to Declan Rice. Challenge comes in from Musiala, wins the ball. Rice back onto his feet. Musiala coming now and finds Goretzka. Goretzka's shot charged down by Saliba and balloons up and behind for a corner kick to Bayern Munich, 0-0.
Yeah, good decision from Saliba to come out and put that pressure on Goretzka. He had to really leave his centre-back hole, come out into that midfield because the ball got turned over. It got squared really well across into Goretzka. Good sharp decision from Saliba to come out and cut the angle.
61 minutes played on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Bayern Munich 0, Arsenal 0. In their red and white shirts, they're playing from right to left. Kimmich is the one who wanders across.
No rush, is he?
No. Been such a good servant for them. £7 million they signed him from Stuttgart back in 2015.
Brilliant signing, isn't it?
For Joshua Kimmich. 84 caps for Germany. Right-footed, it's an in-swinger. I thought at one stage that might have been arrowing its way in towards the far post, but it continued to curl and all the way out for a goal kick. So Raya has only had the one save, hasn't he? That flying effort from Musiala.
Yeah.
They have come close, of course, by hitting the post twice in the space of a matter of seconds early in the second half. But it's reverted to type again now, hasn't it? As a similar pattern to large parts of the first half.
Yeah, Arsenal looking comfortable and relaxed in possession. I just feel this game is there for the taking if they can find that breakthrough. It's a moment, isn't it? It's going to be decided on a good moment or a bad moment, depending how you look at it.
You're looking at fine margins at this stage of the competition. And this is certainly on a knife edge. Ødegaard slides into the challenge, couldn't stop the run of Lima. Midway through his own half, lays it out towards Goretzka, passes the ball out wide. Kimmich, the right back, is over the halfway line. He's now almost midway through the Arsenal half. Goretzka's making that run, but instead it passed out wide. Sane head down, enters the penalty area. Raya got a touch on that. It will come out towards Guerrero, left side of the area. Guerrero with a cross, flying in, and the header from Joshua Kimmich. And Bayern Munich take the lead just past the hour. 63 minutes played. Nobody picked up the run of Joshua Kimmich with his second goal of the season. Bayern take the lead. Bayern 1, Arsenal 0.
What a blow for Arsenal. What a great goal for Bayern Munich. Kimmich, who just continued his run into the box. It was a powerful header past David Raya, but I have to give credit to the cross coming in. What a ball in. I mean, they've got Arsenal stretched. Sane gets to the byline, it gets chipped to the back post. Raya just touches the ball, but the cross coming in, and it's just the reaction. The reaction of Kimmich was absolutely brilliant. Guerrero with the left-footed cross. Nobody's able to track him. He just anticipates the space where that ball's going to be left, and he powers that header into the far post corner. It's a brilliant header, lovely goal from Bayern.
Powerful header on the run, and Arsenal now have got to dust themselves down and bounce back very, very quickly. 64 minutes played. Joshua Kimmich, we were just talking about how much of a good signing he's been for them since he arrived, and he, with a powerful header, nothing that Raya could do about that. And Bayern Munich keep up their excellent record of scoring in home games in the Champions League. As now it's with Lima. Referee has played the advantage. Strong run by Lima. Out towards Sane. Tomiyasu caught in two minds. Sane enters the penalty area. Kimmich is on the overlap, right-hand side of the penalty area, down towards the byline. Now they have the tails up. Plenty of noise being generated inside the Allianz Arena. And Bayern Munich leading 1-0 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate. And both English teams could be going out. Mazraoui, meanwhile, enters the penalty area. It comes to Sane, and he skied it. Left-footed, absolutely skied it, 12 yards out from goal. Goal kick, 1-0 Bayern.
Well, he never got set and settled with his feet there, Leroy Sané. Great play down the left again. The cross coming in from Mazraoui. He pulls off just beyond the penalty spot, but he's kind of coming away from the goal there, Sané, but he never manages to get his balance and get a good footing to strike the ball, and it was a horrible strike in the end. But another sign that Bayern have really got their tails up at the moment. They're pushing for this second goal.
So Arsenal with the goal kick, now with Jorginho, Saliba. The worry is, from an Arsenal point of view, they go in search of the equaliser, but they then leave themselves
a little bit
vulnerable
open
on the counter-attack.
Well, that's what they're going to have to do. They haven't got too much of an option. I think they're going to be patient for a little while. We're 66 minutes in, but they're going to get to a point where they're going to have to be a little bit more gung-ho.
Here is Saliba inside the centre circle. Havertz with a layoff. Jorginho couldn't take it on. Musiala brings it away. Guerrero with the assist. Had his legs chopped by Jorginho. Referee on hand once again. The Bayern bench has exploded. They're calling for Danny Macaulay to show a yellow card, and instead Thomas Tuchel, as assistant, has been shown a yellow as well. Trying to harangue the referee. And he's having none of it, and Arsenal are going to make a change, Matt, and we're going to see Trossard coming on for Jorginho and Gabriel Jesus. It's going to be a double change being made by Mikel Arteta. Martinelli's the other player going off.
I think that was the same change that he made last week, pretty much. I can't remember what time it was, but it was Trossard and Gabriel Jesus came on and had a really positive impact for Arsenal, and obviously featured heavily in the second goal.
So Jesus is on, Trossard is on, and it's Martinelli and Jorginho who make way. Arsenal are trailing. First time in 11 years that two English sides only made the knockout stages. You don't have to go too far back for the last time that no English side reached the Champions League semi-final. It was only in 2020. But Manchester City still trailing at home, and Arsenal now trailing here in Germany, where their away record is they've only won 6 of their previous 20, drawn 5 and lost 9. They've got to defend a free kick now, which the goal scorer Kimmich will take. He fires it in. Goretzka is up, couldn't get the touch with his head, drops out for a goal kick.
What a delivery though that was. I mean, it's a deep free kick he's taken there, Kimmich, but he just puts a lovely flight on the ball, and it's just begging for somebody at the back post to get their head on the end of it. I mean, Goretzka wasn't far away from it, but lovely delivery from the Bayern right back.
We're midway through the second half. Arsenal are trailing by a goal to nil. In the first half, they did create opportunities. Second half, they've created very little.
No. But they haven't. I know they were opportunities, but you know, they haven't had that feeling that they're going to score a goal in this game. It's been a little bit lacking that feel for me.
The boos and the whistles are because Arsenal are in possession, and every outfield player is in the half away towards our right-hand side. Saka, near side the right, back towards White, just over the halfway line, into the centre circle for Saliba. Now Gabriel, Harry Kane runs towards him. Havertz leaves it for Trossard with a cross from the left, easily brought down off the chest and then volleyed away by Eric Dyer. No pressure whatsoever to the former Tottenham defender, still looking for his first goal since he arrived here at Bayern. But Kimmich has got the goal that separates the two sides as the travelling support try and make their presence felt, offering vocal encouragement to Arsenal. Saka gives the ball away. Lima's had a fine game in the midfield.
Brilliant game, hasn't he? Out of possession, how good has he been for Bayern? How many regains has he had of the ball? Cutting out passes, picking up loose balls. Defensively, discipline-wise, they've been outstanding, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
As a team, they've been superb.
This is Dyer following Jesus, slides into the challenge. Jesus tries to win it back, does so. Then he had his legs taken away from him. That'll be a free kick to Arsenal. Mikel Arteta is trying to get the attention of Tomiyasu. I think he's wanting Tomiyasu to venture further forward on that far side, the left, as he just stands with his arms folded, his thick black jacket on this cold night in Munich, as Rice looks for a ball over the top, too far ahead of Ødegaard and straight through to Neuer.
I mean, Trossard has drifted over to that left-hand side, hasn't he? And Havertz is in more of a central midfield role, but I think he's very advanced with Gabriel Jesus gone in at the number 9, and almost Havertz will probably end up playing pretty much close up and alongside Gabriel Jesus. That's where the game is at for Arsenal at the moment.
Tricky play by Musiala, helped out by Mazraoui. Kane drops deep, spreads it out towards Kimmich. There is a spring in the step of Bayern Munich as Sane enters the penalty area, tries to pass it goalwards, comes to Kimmich, and then a slice clearance by Saliba, and behind for a corner kick, and Bayern really did attack with vim and vigour on that occasion.
Yeah, lovely flowing move, wasn't it? Slick move across the pitch into Kimmich. He slides Sane, who has the touch inside Tomiyasu. Is good defending from Gabriel, comes out and just kind of makes a wall of himself, really blocks the ball, gets a good kick into the shin from Sane with the follow through, but lovely sweeping play from Bayern.
Corner kick then to Bayern Munich, who lead by 1-0. 72 minutes played. Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Bayern corner kick far side the right, it's an outswinger. It was flicked on by Dyer. It's going to come out towards Guerreiro, Portuguese international, almost level with the area on the near side, the left, playing from right to left, back then to De Ligt, and De Ligt will go back towards Neuer. Neuer now midway through his own half, plays it forward, headed away forcefully by Ben White. Mazraoui towards Guerreiro, Harry Kane back towards Dyer, and Bayern Munich seeing a lot of the ball, and Arsenal at this stage just can't get hold of it.
No, I mean, since the goal, you've just seen a different air of confidence about this Bayern team at home, haven't you? They've looked a bit more relaxed. They seem to be snapping into the tackles and getting a little bit tighter, winning the ball back. Eric Dyer, Lema a couple of times, really forcing the mistake from Arsenal. That's where their confidence is coming out now. They're feeling in control of this game and that they're going to see it through.
Hasn't really been a sustained spell of pressure from Arsenal in the second half.
No, not enough.
White waits to take the throw. Thomas Tuchel, who's looking for a Champions League semi-final with a third different side. Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea previously. Jose Mourinho managed it with 4 teams, 4 different sides. So Thomas Tuchel, who is leaving Bayern Munich at the end of the season. Arsenal win the ball high up the pitch. Saka leaps out of the way, and it will be an Arsenal throw. In fact, there'll be a corner kick right down by the far side, away towards our right.
The set plays haven't been as effective as what you see with Arsenal in the Premier League, have they? Certainly in the 2 ties, this is an opportunity for Saka to put a corner in with his left foot and see if Arsenal can force something.
So, corner kick to Arsenal, needing an equaliser. Saka with a corner on this near side, the right, goes towards the far post. Neuer takes no chances. He had 2 players on his far post, but he came up and got something to it as he stretched for it. It's gone behind for another corner kick on that far side.
Yeah, there was no Arsenal player coming into that back post area either. It was completely free.
So it's Declan Rice as an empty beer glass, as it's albeit a plastic one, has just been tossed down in his direction. He kicks it away as he prepares to take that corner kick. Arsenal trailing by 1-0 on the night. Declan Rice, the arm goes aloft, swings it over. Neuer, referee's blown his whistle. There's going to be a change being made by Bayern Munich. Min Jae Kim, the South Korean defender, is going to be coming on. They signed him for £50 million from Napoli, and the player who is going to be going off is going to be Mazraoui. So Guerreiro, I would imagine, will switch to the
maybe we'll have to see. I mean, Mazraoui has been brilliant coming into that role at left back on a massive game like this. Fair play to him. He's had a good evening, done his job, been very solid. I think he might Kim might just slip into the left-back position.
As an orthodox left-back.
Yeah.
But one who's not going to venture forward as much as
Absolutely, because he's going to keep De Ligt and Dyer as the two centre-backs unless he changes the shape, which I don't think he will.
Saka wins the ball. Oh, he just dispossessed Guerrero, and his forward ball was too far ahead of Gabriel Jesus. Goretzka lifts it forward. Musiala flag stays down. 14 and a half minutes remaining. Arsenal are heading out of the Champions League. Musiala coming forward, running in field, looking for the shooting opportunity, gets the shot away on the run, took a deflection, and it goes out of play for a corner kick to Bayern Munich, who still lead by a goal to nil.
Well, perfect for him at this moment of the game. They can slow it down, they're taking their time. 15 minutes left, they're in control of this tie now. I think that you feel that around the stadium as well. There's a comfortable feel that Bayern have this one in the bag, and Arsenal are going to have to work really hard to create something to prove differently.
He said last night, Mikel Arteta, I want our team to be ourselves. They haven't looked like themselves in this second half. They've got a corner kick, as in it comes from that far side, the attack by Jesus, and Manchester City have equalised at home to Real Madrid. Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 1. Kevin De Bruyne with the equaliser, as Neuer floats it forward. Dyer leaves it. Musiala strokes it back. Kim now as the left back for Bayern Munich. Arsenal at this stage, you've got to say, don't look like getting an equaliser, as here is Kim once more. Impressed for Napoli when they won their first Serie A title in 33 years. Previously played at Fenerbahce. Neuer is badly hooked out, but he reaches Dyer.
That was intentional, I think. That.
Oh, was it?
I've been watching him. He's been kind of hooking his passes out to this left-hand side. He does it with his right foot. He hasn't got the cleanest of contacts, but I think he does it on purpose, Deno, just trying to bend it into the player on the left-hand side.
Well, they've kept the ball very, very well, and as I say that, it's given away as a slip by Musiala. Saliba, Rice, White couldn't get there. Saka, though, keeps it alive. Little nudge there by Kim. That'll be a free kick to Arsenal midway through the Bayern half, and time is ticking away. 12 minutes remain. They got the equaliser 14 minutes from the end through Trossard in that first leg in North London last week, as Ødegaard and Rice both bending down in discussion. Havertz has a little word as well and then trots away. There's not even going to be two in the wall, really. Musiala and Sane, but there's a gap between them, so Neuer is going to be well sighted for this free kick. Rice leaves it, Ødegaard to take it, left-footed, dropping inside the penalty area, but always curling and dropping away from the Arsenal players, and out for a goal kick. 1-0 Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I think that was aimed at a player just being able to get after the ball and make contact with him as it dropped over that group of players, but just slightly overhit. I mean, it bounces in a really difficult area right at that back post, but no Arsenal player there to get any kind of touch.
Villa at the weekend was the third time in the last 15 games that Arsenal had failed to score, and they haven't looked like scoring in this second period. 11 minutes remain. Harry Kane brings it out of the air very, very well and chips it out towards Kimmich. There is an applause of appreciation for Harry Kane's work there by the Bayern supporters. Sane on that far side. In a domino effect, the supporters in that bottom tier from that first row all start to stand up as Bayern attack. Dyer forward, nice turn. Guerrero almost threaded through Harry Kane, but it was blocked by Arsenal. It's away from Trossard. Kim steps forward. Bayern have got it back once again. They're the sharper of the two teams, still leading by a goal to nil, and just over 10 minutes remain.
That was a cracking pass from Eric Dyer a moment ago. Really broke the line with the passes. He's had a good evening, Eric Dyer, I have to say. Looking at him playing in this game, looking comfortable at this kind of stage in the Champions League, I can totally understand why in his mind he's thinking, why am I not in contention with the England squad?
Rice does well, alert, takes it over, threads the ball through. Jesus, the angle is tight. Jesus fires it wide. It wouldn't have counted anyway. It was a late flag, and he'll be relieved to see that.
He will, because that was not a close finish, was it? I mean, it's pretty clearly offside. Maybe could have held his run a little bit as well, because he can see that near post, the near side defender. He knows he can't go beyond him before that ball is passed. And we're now back into 50-50 almost in terms of ball possession territory, which tells you how much stronger Bayern have been in this second half than Arsenal.
But they have been the better side.
They have.
And they're leading by a goal to nil. And Arsenal have got less than 10 minutes to try and salvage this Champions League campaign. First quarter-final in 14 years. Their record at this stage of the European Cup. They've only won 2 of their previous 7, last 8 ties. Villarreal back in 2009 was their last successful foray into the last 4. But with 9 minutes remaining, Kim with a throw, it's petering out for Arsenal. Still very much in the title race. For Bayern Munich, their season was resting on this game alone. The last time that Bayern finished a season empty-handed was 2012. As Rice puts it out of play for a throw, and Bayern Munich have it on this near side. And Arsenal are unable just to get a foothold in this second half. Musiala with fancy footwork. Back down the line, comes off Saka. It's going to be another throw to Bayern Munich, but it's all at the wrong end of the field.
Yeah, it's perfect territory for Bayern at the moment. They're happy just to keep having the ball going in and out of play, up in the attacking third.
Ball played back by Musiala to Dyer. De Ligt, the Dutch international, out towards Kimmich, as the Bayern supporters all stand and rise in unison to their feet and applaud. With 8 minutes remaining. Good record here at home. Nice flick by Guerrero, releases Musiala. Musiala has Harry Kane ahead of him, tries to pass the ball to Kane. After the block, it was cleared by Saliba, only as far as Lima, who has been so influential as a shield in that midfield.
I mean, he's just mopped up everything, hasn't he? Any loose ball, that one there pops up in the air. Who's the man chesting it down, getting his body in the way between Martin Odegaard and the ball, and just smoothing it out for Bayern. It's that guy Lima. He's been superb. I mean, there's been a lot of good performances this evening from Bayern, certainly in this second half, but he is very much a standout.
And Bayern, in their European Cup / Champions League quarter-final record, they've won 20 and lost 13. They're eyeing another semi-final. They've certainly got a very good record after avoiding defeat in first legs. Bayern have only failed to progress in one of their previous 18 Champions League ties, and that was when they lost here to Liverpool in the last 16 in 2019. Premier League opposition tonight in the second half hasn't been able to build on the promise of a first half performance when it was 0-0 at half time. And the Kimmich header on the run after 63 minutes is the difference between the two. As here is Rice, forward ball, Lima again, preventing it from reaching Odegaard. Guerrero was taken out, and that was Ben White, who was shown a yellow card by Danny McAlee.
A frustrating challenge, wasn't it? Just kicked through the back of Guerrero, who's had a very good game as well, playing in that higher left kind of attacking position. What a versatile player he is. I think he's played in central midfield as well for Bayern, left back, high on the left of a front three. I mean, he's a lovely cross for the goal. He's showed some real nice touches and pieces of skill as well. They've got a maturity about their team, haven't they?
Well, they've got know-how as well, haven't they? We talked before about the lack of experience in this Arsenal side. You can't necessarily say that about the seasoned Champions League performers in this Bayern Munich team. It's shown second half. 5 minutes for Arsenal to change that. Tomiyasu released on that far side. Havertz and Trossard. Hardly mentioned Trossard since he came on. Jesus, not once but twice, spins away out of a challenge, and then he was caught by Musiala. That'll be a free kick. Jesus has stayed down. They're looking for a moment of late magic, are Arsenal.
It's going to have to be something special, isn't it? They're just not kind of creating the kind of chances that are going to be run-of-the-mill, get into an area and square the ball and tap it in. It's just got that feel that it's going to have to be something a little bit special.
Eddie Nketiah is going to be coming on. Will the change happen before this free kick or not? We'll have to see. It will in fact take place now, and it's going to be Tomiyasu who's going to be going off. So Nketiah for Tomiyasu, an attacking change in a desperate attempt to grab a late equaliser and force extra time. So Nketiah is on, Tomiyasu is off. By my watch, we have 4 minutes remaining of normal time. Bayern Munich still lead by 1-0 here on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Ødegaard to take the free kick, easily headed away by Kim. Unchallenged header. Referee had spotted an infringement and gives Bayern a free kick.
I mean, he's done this a few times in this game. Arsenal haven't got that balance right on the set plays, whether it's Gabriel or Saliba or whoever it is. There's been 2 or 3 fouls that the referee's just given straight away. So he's not happy with the way they're going about blocking or holding or trying to set up the opportunity to win the ball. There's been a lot of wasted free kicks coming into the box where a foul's just given instantly.
The Bayern supporters jumping up in unison behind that goal, are celebrating. Kane with a flick header, Musiala away, Musiala into the penalty area with the outside of his right boot, carves a goal-bound shot that was straight at Raya.
Thought he could have crossed it earlier with his left foot. Sane was making a run into that back post area. I thought if he just puts it in there in early, he had a chance of getting on the end of it. It was a brilliant flick from Harry Kane. Knew exactly the space where he wanted to glance that header from the goal kick and glanced it into the perfect spot for Musiala to run onto.
There's a lack of conviction about Arsenal at the minute. There was White and Saliba as the ball played forward by Jesus towards Saka, picked up by Ødegaard. Ødegaard enters the penalty area and then shoots. Did it get a touch? He thinks he's got a corner kick. The assistant referee says not. Hits the side netting with a right-footed effort. Thought there might have been a touch actually.
Yeah. Well, they just got the wrong side, didn't they? It was a real opportunity. He shifts it onto his right foot, Ødegaard, and drills the ball. There is a nick off the bottom of the studs of Dyer and a touch from Neuer. Martin Ødegaard saying to the linesman there's 2 touches, and he's spot on.
Upamecano is going to be coming on. It's going to be another defensive change being made by Thomas Tuchel, and the player who's going to be going off is Leroy Sané. Not necessarily surprised that he hasn't necessarily played the full 90, because he was a doubt coming into the game. So Upamecano, who can either play as a right back or as a central defender, will replace Sané, and Upamecano is on with 2 minutes remaining of normal time.
Well, there's 2 centre-backs they've brought on. They've got 4 centre-backs across the back now, really, Bayern. And I think Kimmich is just going to go in front of Upamecano as they try and see this game out. I mean, it's obviously they know exactly what they've got to do. Is clear intentions from Thomas Tuchel, and there is a feeling like they have this 1-1.
Mikel Arteta waves his left arm in a circular motion as if to say go on, get forward, and every outfield player is in the Bayern half away towards our right hand side, out towards Saka, clattered out of play by Kim, the South Korean. 60 seconds of normal time remaining. Saka once again has been below par. In comes the throw. There are 2 balls on the pitch. There's going to have to be a stoppage in play as Kim puts it away. That's actually kicked out by one of the players. It goes out for an Arsenal throw, headed by Jesus, but he's come very, very deep to collect that ball. Here he is now, Jesus, picking it up. Got to get past Lima. Ødegaard tries to take it, challenged well by Dyer, just lifts it forward towards Lima, gets away from Saliba, half-hearted challenge by Saliba. Lima running forward, Lima still going in the inside towards Harry Kane, passes the ball towards Musiala, Musiala to the penalty area, shoots left-footed straight at Raya.
Oh, it's lovely feet from Musiala to set the chance up on his left foot. Twinkle toes, really, just chops the ball between his feet to create that opportunity to get a shot off, but doesn't make any real contact of any quality with the ball. It's comfortable for Raya in the end, but lovely break, and it's Lima again, Deno. I mean, the work he's got through in that midfield area has been outstanding this evening.
4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Bayern still lead by a goal to nil. Saka to White. White in field. Declan Rice thought he was going to shoot. Instead, passes the ball to the left side of the penalty area. Touched by Nketiah. Trossard feeds it back to Nketiah, playing in front of Bayern Munich. Here is Rice once again. Rice crosses the ball forward. Saka is there with a cutback. Close range hasn't been dealt with. Upamecano with a clearance. Now the flag is raised. Nobody could get the touch.
No, it was a lovely ball to the back post. Saka peeled out there. Declan Rice saw him. He just tries to punch the ball back into that danger area, edge of the 6-yard box, but there was enough Bayern players in there to deal with it, and the ball just wouldn't fall to an Arsenal player.
Bayern Munich know that they are very, very close. Their supporters clapping in unison. The first minute of the minimum of 4 has already ticked by. Harry Kane using his strength to hold up the ball. Can't release it out towards Musiala on that far side, the right. Havertz challenged by Kimmich. The referee gives the free kick, and Kimmich is shown a yellow card. It's the second Bayern player to be booked tonight in injury time, but he knew what he was doing there, Joshua Kimmich. Free kick to Arsenal just outside the centre circle. Rolls it out towards that far side. Trossard loses the ball and then left a bit of a late challenge on Kimmich, and the referee spotted it and given the free kick.
Well, Trossard arguing as if to say it's just a coming together. Yes, he does bounce him to the floor, but he's got every right to challenge for that ball. Doesn't feel it's a foul. Kimmich does just get there first, but they're both challenging.
The stats will tell you that Bayern have only lost 1 of 10 at home to English sides. That was Liverpool 5 years ago, although Chelsea supporters will point out that they did triumph here on penalties in the 2012 Champions League final. Jesus has just been shown a yellow card for dissent by the Dutch referee. Arsenal, though, second half haven't done enough.
No, they haven't. They haven't been creative enough. They haven't got their rhythm or their flow about their play, and that's partly big credit to Bayern, the way they've stopped them doing that, their defensive discipline, their structure, their shape. But Arsenal haven't had the answers to the puzzle, and they haven't unlocked it.
Just over 60 seconds remain, and the noise inside the Allianz Arena will tell you that the Bayern supporters know that they're close. They're all standing up, and they're preparing now to celebrate another appearance in a Champions League semi-final, and it will be a deserved passage to the last 4 as another pint of beer in a plastic glass is tossed in the direction of an Arsenal player over on that far side, as in comes the throw, and then cleared away by Harry Kane of all people, out for a throw. But by my watch, we have 30 seconds remaining. David Raya is wanting to take the ball boy duties as he tosses the ball to Declan Rice. Quickly into the Bayern half they go. White forward of the centre circle. By my watch, the 4 minutes are all but up now. Now or never for Arsenal. White on this near side, the right. Ødegaard reaches Saka, sharp turn, challenge comes in from Kim, direct free kick just outside the penalty area. They take it quickly. White was there, Goretzka was alive to the danger, slid in behind for a corner kick.
Well, it's an interesting decision to play it quick. I think it's just instinct from Bukayo Saka. Saw the run of White, thought they could catch Bayern out, but the tackle comes in. Really important challenge and pops it out for a corner. This is a big moment for Arsenal.
David Raya is up from the back. 4.5 minutes of stoppage time. Amidst the din, the Bayern supporters making all the noise. Saka with a corner kick, didn't beat the first man. Headed away by Goretzka. And there is the full-time whistle. Kane and co celebrate. Bayern's season is still alive. But Arsenal are out of the Champions League as Bayern deservedly go through by a goal to nil, courtesy of Kimmich's goal.
Well, the second half performance from Bayern Munich has just been far superior. They've been defensively better, they've created better, and Arsenal just haven't had the answers. So based upon that, you have to say that the result at the end of the day is a fair one and a reflection of the know-how and the quality that this club still has. I mean, it's got an amazing European heritage, and you certainly saw that tonight in moments.
Can't really recall a telling contribution that Arsenal made in the second half. They had a number of efforts in the first half, unable to replicate that.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. And Bayern came out with the blocks, they hit the bar and then hit the post, and they just looked like they had a bit more of edge about them. Arsenal went about their business, but it just wasn't enough to break down this really stubborn defensive unit. And the whole team, I have to say, was set up brilliantly by Thomas Tuchel, and their game plan worked fantastically well. And you know, on balance, the way they worked, the defensive, what they got through, the physicality they showed, you know, they're a very good team, and I can understand why they've got the win.
It is strange that, you know, they're 16 points behind the champions Bayer Leverkusen, and yet in the Champions League they appear to be a completely different proposition.
They're a different animal, aren't they? You know, you can see that they enjoy this competition, and they've had a bad spell and a bad run through the league. It hasn't been good enough, but in these kind of matches it sometimes suits them to play a team that wants to have the ball or that feels that they're better than them. So the semi-final is going to be really fascinating.
Well, Bayern will be at home for the first leg, either on the 30th of April or May the 1st, against the winners of Real Madrid or Manchester City. And of course, reflections of this game, if it's not on 5 Live, because the potential of that going to extra time, will be on the 5 Live Football Daily Pod. But here in Munich, it's ended in disappointment. And very briefly, Matt, Arsenal now going to have to pick themselves up, because they are still in the title race.
Yep.
Wolves away on Saturday evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive game. You've got to come away from this and you've got to focus all your energy on trying to get as many points as they can in the Premier League from now to the end of the season, and possibly, potentially, still win a Premier League title. So plenty to still get excited about.
Well, we've got that game still going on at the Etihad on 5 Live Sport. Tomorrow night, Atalanta against Liverpool in the Europa League quarter-final second leg. Saturday's 5 Live Sport, the commentary in the usual goal service. Luton Town, Brentford at 3. Manchester City, Chelsea in the FA Cup first semi-final at Wembley at 5:15. Sunday, Everton, Nottingham Forest at 1:30, and then Coventry, Manchester United in the second FA Cup semi-final at 3:30. But thank you for your company tonight on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. If you want further live football, then listen back across on 5 Live Sport. But Harry Kane is celebrating in front of the Bayern supporters away towards our right-hand side. Bayern Munich have beaten Arsenal by 1-0, and it's Bayern Munich who go through to the semi-finals, 3-2 on aggregate. From Matt and myself here in Munich on Sports Extra, we'll bid you a good evening.